Welcome back to episode 117 of AyyScare Plays Front Office Football 8. In case you missed last episode was actually a great episode. So last episode, we actually finished first in the league in terms of regular season, but then we did end up dropping first round of playoffs. Well, actually, I guess it was second round because we had a bye. So in the second round of playoffs, we did drop, and that was mainly because our starting quarterback got injured in the final week of the regular season. So we went into playoffs with our backup quarterback, which is definitely not ideal, and we ended up taking the L. That being said, I think that last season does prove that we are in a win now mode, and I fully believe, I'm not going to say we would have won the entire thing, but I think that if we had had our starting quarterback, we would have had a serious shot to win the entire thing last year. So we're back at it. We're gonna try to improve again. I think improving from 12-4 is gonna be hard, but hopefully we will at least make playoffs again, and we'll have another run at the title here. So really quick, just a recap before we start the new season. Let's hop in real quick and look at our I'm not in the right tab. There we are. Team summary. So, a couple of things stand out. First and foremost, Alex Baxter had a very good season for us. We actually had one of the top running games for the first time ever. According to this, we were second in the league in running, which is awesome. Alejandro Forbes went off. He's actually basically put up 3 900-yard seasons for us in a row, and he does add a little bit in the passing game, so he's doing really well for us, and I think he's near the end of his contract now, which is bad because he's going to ask for a crap ton, but only so much you can do. Baxter, Alex Baxter, he only threw 11 touchdown passes, but if you look here, he was throwing at almost 66% completion, which was second in the league. And even though he was only putting up 11 touchdown passes, our running game put up another 18. So, like I said in a previous episode, this game does not seem to have those 50 touchdown pass seasons. It seems like if you reach at like 30 touchdown passes, that's like considered exceptional in this game. So that's something just to keep in mind. And then our defense popped off. We basically had the top run defense in the league. We had a very good pass defense as well. We were fourth in the league in terms of points per game allowed on us. And overall, again, I think adding in a good safety would do some of these numbers, a lot better. But we're in a win now mode. Getting a safety where we're drafting is probably going to be relatively hard, but we will see what we can find. So with this, let's go ahead and get started and see where things go. Numbers are increasing once again. All right, so after a season like that, I really don't think that I'm even going to bother with coach swapping. We were top team in the league, and we were plagued by a bad injury going into playoffs. So even if there's a significantly better coach, I don't see switching, but we'll see what happens here. We still have the best head coach available for us. There's one that's considered better for possible offense, but it's only by 2 points. So, like I said, our offense last year absolutely smashed it. So, not too interested in making a big change there. All right, so we still had either best or second best in every category. So, that's good. Go ahead, set ticket pricing. And let's see if there's anybody that we're going to cut. Let's see what our money situation looks like. So we're sitting on about 90 million for the season to start out here. Now, from a reminder from last episode, Miles Giles, we decided to let him play his contract year, and we were talking about potentially doing a franchise on him. And I have a really hard time, we did have one of the best run defenses in the league, and that's an area where he excels. But he put up 32 tackles, only 2 sacks. He did put up 16 hurries and 9 quarterback knockdowns, but I don't feel like that is franchise stats. Normally, if I'm looking to franchise a defensive end, normally they're putting up like at least 8 sacks and preferably in like the 40-50 tackle range. So I think, unfortunately, we're probably going to let him walk, especially since if we franchise him, let's just take a quick look at this here. Franchise salaries. So if we choose to franchise him, we're going to be paying him about $35 million. And I don't feel like he's putting up $35 million values. I'll just leave it at that. So I think we are going to let him walk. We'll see where he ends up in free agency. We may try to re-sign him there. We have a number of players here at the top that are at 1 year, which means we're probably going to be seeing this money dwindle anyway. Let's take a quick look down this list, though. So Cooper Tempest, he, I think, was our second best running back last year. His bars are not good. I think this really just had to do with he was the off back for a very good running game. So I'm not too interested in franchising him. All right, well, that basically answers that question. Let's go look really quickly at attitude. Cool, we don't have any... Oh, would you look at that? I guess our quarterback and the guard that he didn't get along with are now doing okay. That's nice. Let's see, we do have one unhappy player here in Dylan Barlow, which makes sense because his bars are really good and he basically didn't play at all the past 2 seasons. I might see what I can get for him trade-wise before just cutting him. And this guy's unhappy. He's probably going to be worth shopping around too because of his run defense. He wasn't a full-time starter for us, so we can shop him around a little bit. All right. Let's just real quick look at the contracts here. This guy's getting paid a lot. Very stable player. Want to keep him around. Ooh, look at that. He increased in tackles, increased in assists. 2 back-to-back 6 interception seasons. Still rocking at 79% pass defended. That's good with me. This guy, he dipped a little bit from his landmark season in last year, but he still went for 8.5 sacks, 75 or 74 tackles. Wonderful player to have. Louis Welch, which guy is this? This guy we brought in from free agency, and he did absolutely diddly squat for us, and we're paying him $25 million. I'm going to try shopping him around before cutting him, because he's only considered a 48. Well, we'll see what happens with that one. Here's a guy that we should probably go ahead and cut. We're paying him $23 million, and he didn't really start for us either season. We're going to go ahead and release him. With how much we were paying him, I don't expect to get any decent offers. Offensive tackle has done very well for us, keeping him around. Why are we paying this guy so much? Wait a second. Oh, I guess he was a dud last season. Did he go on IR? Looks like he did. Ooh, ACL, and he's had it 2 times now. Now, unfortunately, when they're on IR or coming off of IR, we normally can't release them because we're going to end up paying them. Ooh, I guess he's after that situation. Sometimes if you have a player on IR, you have to basically pay out their contract. But I guess that he's now considered in recovering, so we'll go ahead and cut him. He definitely had a down year from what he did in Carolina, but our safety game's weak, so I don't want to cut that. Here's a guy who did very little to nothing for us. Let's go ahead and release him. Dylan Barlow, we're going to try trading for... Okay. So we did cut, I guess that was 3 players. And did we lose anyone to retirement this year? Let's see. That's under... transaction log. No, we lost our kicker. Let's see here. So we did lose one of our decent defensive ends. We lost one of our starting guards. And we lost our longtime kicker, who had been with us since the very first season together. So we actually do have a couple holes that we're going to need to fill that have not been on our radar recently. Just out of curiosity, where did this guy end up? 3rd all-time in field goals. Love it. All right. So let's go ahead and begin free agency. And we're going to have a number of players that we're going to have to re-sign here. So this guy has only been a half-time starter because he's been splitting basically his entire career with Archie Blanchard. So he's probably going to be relatively cheap. He's actually asking for more than he asked for in previous contracts, but he's still not even considered a top 20. So we'll go ahead, re-get him. Jamal Lindsay. This was our first round pick at that pick 3 a couple of episodes ago. He's increased each year in terms of his yards. He's definitely not that like boom wide receiver. Like, if we look throughout all of his games, he's only had 1 game for over 100 yards. So he's definitely not that boom guy that I was kind of hoping for. But I think that he is kind of our clear wide receiver 1 right now. So let's see what he's asking for. All right, going up to $42 million. So he is basically asking, it's a little bit team end it there at the front. I guess team load it there on the front. But he's basically asking to be paid like a top 10 wide receiver. Which I don't feel like he's proven to be that yet. So he is actually going to play out his rookie contract for us. And then we're going to look at franchising him next year. This tight end popped off for us last year. And let's just see what his blocking looks like. And normally these numbers are pretty low, so it's hard to make a big determination here. But he has only allowed 2 sacks in his 3 seasons. And let's take a quick look at... He's 6'4", 260. And he's so good at route running and third down catching. We're going to go ahead and re-sign this guy, even though he's basically asking to be a top 5 tight end. But I think for right now, that's going to be a worthwhile investment for us. Let's see. We then have ourselves an inside linebacker here. He didn't play 2 seasons ago. So actually, last season was his first season. And he did pretty well. I mean, he went for 86 tackles, 2 sacks. Very high pass defended rate. And 2 interceptions. That's actually really good for an inside linebacker, in my opinion. Let's see. So asking to get paid up to 22, so like a top 10. Actually, that's probably a little bit rough. He's asking more for like a top 15 pay here. So we'll go ahead, give him that. We're only going off of 1 year stats, which is a little bit worrisome, but I think he's going to be okay. see. This guy's asking for almost nothing, so we will go ahead and re-sign him. Our other linebacker here, really good run defense. I do want to try to keep that run defense up this year. Asking for little. Alejandro Forbes, this is going to be a probably big contract. Okay, he's given a little bit of a team deal here. This is kind of like a top 10, top 15 kind of deal. For what he's actually done for us, I know he hasn't had a 1,000-yard season, but look, he's been with the team 5 years. In the past 3 years, he's basically put up about 900 yards on the ground each year. He does put up another like 400 in receiving. He put up 10 rushing touchdowns last year. He's, once again, kind of like our wide receiver. He's not the guy that booms for a lot of 100-yard games. He's only had 5 in his career. But I think keeping the cohesion here is important since we were the best team in the league last year. So let's not mess this up. And I don't want to have both him and Jamal Lindsay go on free agency at the same time because I'm only going to be able to franchise one of them. So let's go ahead, sign his extension. We have our fullback here that we should probably go ahead and re-sign. I like having a good fullback and they don't cost much. So let's see, another defensive tackle here, not asking for much. He's a good player to swap in. Guard, we're going to need to keep him around and he's not asking for much, especially since we lost our other guard. And so going into this season, I was kind of thinking to myself, what position should we focus on here? As basically every single episode, safety, if one falls to us, is definitely a thing that I want to focus on. The other thing is I do want to try to get another stud on our offensive line, especially since we just lost one of our guards. Right now we don't have a standout offensive lineman, so being able to get one would be good. That would also hopefully keep Alex Baxter healthy. We definitely don't have a bad line. Like, outside of, we are missing a guard here, but our other 4 starting offensive linemen are all in the 50s range. So, you know, it could be much worse. I'll put it that way. And then let's go ahead and re-sign our long snapper. All right. So with that, we are going to need to get a running back. We're going to need to get a kicker, corner. Those are the only things that we absolutely need in order to fill out our roster. The game says that right now we need a tackle, an inside linebacker, and defensive tackle. So I would say that I agree actually with none of this, to be quite honest. I think right now the main things that I want to focus on are safety and getting another starting guard. Do one of these guys like identify as a guard or something? Yeah, I guess the game, very similar to real life. Generally speaking, your tackle is, or one of your tackles, normally left tackle, is one of the more important positions. So I guess the game's saying that it would be great if we had a tackle starting that was like 70 plus. I don't see that happening, especially since we don't have like a top 15 pick. But we'll see what we can land. So we're going to go ahead, finish out that first round there. Let's take a look at the best players available. Miles Giles is considered the best player in terms of grade and by a long shot. That being said, especially with our money situation, because he's probably going to get the biggest contract here, we're definitely not going to be able to afford him. So I might go ahead and try to focus on one of these 2 tackles. Since the game says we need a tackle, this guy's a 59, which would not be a huge increase. And actually, this guy's allowed 10 sacks in both of the past 2 seasons. So never mind, I'm not really interested in him. I'm not really interested in him either. Okay. Well, that just made things a lot easier. Let's see, we don't have too much money here, so here's a left guard that we could definitely throw in. I like that line, not many sacks allowed. He's really high in pass blocking, and he's decent in run blocking. Really high endurance, so hopefully he'll be able to basically remain on the field for us. He is coming to us with 2 rings, or he would be coming to us with 2 rings. Let's see what he's asking for. He's not asking for much at all, which I'm actually surprised about. Yeah, I'm really surprised that this guy's actually willing to go for so cheap. So let's go ahead. We'll definitely offer him over his asking price, since it seems like a steal to me. This would definitely land us our other starting guard, which is exactly what I was just talking about that we need. Here's another great linebacker. Linebacker is really not something that I see us needing right now, so I am going to go ahead and skip over that. Oh, he's pending. Okay, wait a second. Did any other team bid on him? Oh, we're way above what other teams are asking right now. So I'm confident in our bid then. Okay, yep, we got him. Awesome. Let's take a look here, because now that that's done, is there any safety on this list? There are a couple of safeties further down. None of them are that highly rated. His numbers are decent. Let me remind myself what our safety game currently looks like. So we have this strong safety who did decently last year. And our best free or far safety, he's actually off the team, is this guy. So yeah, this guy would be a clear upgrade for us. Let's see, he would go in like 3 rounds though. So this guy actually looks really good. What's his overall? He's a 55. This guy actually could be great, but he just came off of a decent season. Yeah, we don't have really the money to pay that. We could put in an offer on one of these tackles. That guy hasn't even played the past 2 years. Maybe we should put in an offer on Cooper Tempest. He was on our team last year. He was our RB2. So bringing him back would at least give us that, cohesion, already familiar with things. We can probably nab a running back in the draft. But since this guy was an RB2, he's probably not asking for too much. Yeah, he's really not asking for much at all. We'll give him a $2 million bonus each year, and that will probably be enough to make him stay with us. Let's see, we're still pending with him. Then this, okay, so we re-signed him. That's cool. And then let's go ahead and put in an offer on that safety, which I believe was this guy. Yeah, no. Let me just take a look at these other 2 real quick. He's actually coming off of a 100 tackles. He's actually had 2 great seasons back to back. He's not that much of an interceptions guy, even though his interception bar is really high. He has a higher pass defended rate. Let's see, this guy actually goes the round before the other guy. So let's actually put in an offer on him, and then we'll see if we then need to offer on the other guy. How old is this guy? 28. Yeah, this is kind of his final decent sized deal. And he's not even asking to be a top 20, which is crazy to me considering he put up basically 2 back-to-back 100 tackle seasons. Let's see here. So sort of increases pay $2 million each year. We're giving him a slightly higher signing bonus. And what's in here? We had 3 players express excitement, but only 1 disappointment. I'm never a fan when a player's going to be disappointed, but it's a 3-1 here, so let's go ahead. Still put in that offer. And it looks like he signed with us. He did. All right. So now that I did that real quick, let me just look at something. The conflict is a guy that's off the team now. So, hey, let's go. We have a lot of affinities going now that I'm liking this so far. So now we're at a point where we probably need to save the rest here for our draft and 1 or 2 things in post free agency or late free agency. So let's really quickly, before the draft starts, let's see if we can ship out a couple of those players that we talked about earlier. So the main ones in question, and I might not even remember them all now, we were looking at shipping out. Wow, this is bad. I actually don't remember which players I said that about. Tackle, running back. Is this one of them? No, I really liked that guy. I know one of them was Dylan Barlow. Okay, this was one of the guys. So let's take a quick look at what people ask for him. And then also Jim Lapointe here. All right. So first, Dylan Barlow. Is any team at all interested? Dylan Barlow. No. Okay, so he'll probably get cut then. And then the other player was Jim. All right. Well, that just answered that question pretty quickly. The 2 main players that I was thinking about shipping out are not of interest of other teams, which I'm going to be honest, I'm actually surprised Dylan Barlow isn't. I know that he really hasn't done anything the past 2 years, but his bars still seem really good. And he's only getting paid $10 million, which is not even, it's not even close to really being a starting wide receiver salary. So I actually might just go ahead and keep him now because, wait a second here. Yeah, he's more than likely going to be our wide receiver too. So hopefully he gets a little bit more play time than he has. And then the other player, this guy is he's our mentor for inside linebackers. He's not getting paid that much. I'm actually going to keep him. Went back on my word there. Ooh, wow, that is a beautiful look to the start of things there. 3 great quarterbacks for probably the first 3 teams on the board. We are pick 28, so we're not going to have really any shot at a number of these guys. We might, with how many running backs and tackles there are here, one of these tackles may fall to us. So I am going to go ahead and interview them here. That would be a nice pickup. That would also, actually his bars dropped pretty badly, didn't they? Yeah. Although for 28th, I don't think that's bad. I'm still going to leave him there. Those bars are great. Yeah, that guy's actually looking way better than that guy. This guy's very underrated. So that guy will almost certainly fall to us. He's 10th or 9th tackle on the board. He would almost certainly fall to us. I'm actually going to mark him as the only red one. Great looking safety here. He's considered very overrated though. He's also the first safety, so he's probably not going to fall. I'm really tempted to say this guy will certainly fall to us, but I don't want him to be the only player on the board that I have marked. So let's find one or two others. Here's a decent looking wide receiver. So I'm going to go ahead and mark him. Oh, very good looking wide receiver here. And he's considered very overrated, but those bars are really good. I'm actually really interested because I didn't actually look. Last year, we took a wide receiver that was very big, and I don't know how he actually panned out in terms of his stats. This was him right here. He actually, for a rookie, got 45 catches, 350 yards, and 131 after the catch. It doesn't look like he's going to be like a starter in the league, but that's still a cool guy to have for, goal line situations, things like that. So we'll keep him in mind. We do need a kicker. Now, normally I would say just get a kicker in free agency. It doesn't matter. But we had a really good run with the kicker that we drafted in our first or second episode together. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's a kicker that has super high bars in this draft. So it looks like I probably will be saving that for late free agency. It would probably be worthwhile to pull in a running back in round like 2 or 3. It's a really nice looking wide receiver. Considered very overrated. So let's take a look at some of the wide receivers. So round 2 or 3, we're definitely not going to get like a top 4. But starting maybe here is where we can start looking at guys. Very overrated. This looks like a good third down back for us. It's considered overrated. All right. Another good looking third down back. Very overrated. All right. I guess just all these guys are very overrated. That's lovely. And so, well, this is definitely like a catching back, which is awesome. But he doesn't have the blitz pickup, which when I have a like running or a catching back, I do like having them having decent blitz pickup, which, I mean, he could be like a 50 in blitz pickup. We'll go ahead and see where he's considered overrated too. All right, well, that kind of sucks. But you know what? You can't do it all, right? Unlucky couple of interviews that draft, but hopefully we'll still land a couple of other decent pickups. And then hopefully make playoffs again. Oops. All right, so let's take a look-see here. So San Fran, Pitt, and Athens are probably going to get these top 3 quarterbacks unless one of them has like a stellar quarterback that got hurt or something like that. So let's take a look. We'll run this at faster for the first couple picks. Number 1, San Fran, wide receiver. Whoa. Wait a second here. Absolutely not what I was expecting. That's so weird. I mean, they have a quarterback that's a 49 there, but they had an option of what looked like a stellar quarterback at 2 or 3 of them. Very interesting. Not sure what I think about that, but not my team. So they must have really liked that wide receiver a lot. And then Pittsburgh and Athens did both go quarterback. So let's see here. Buffalo, running back, quarterback. All right. So the top 3 quarterbacks did go in the top 5 picks. Here, I'm pretty confident that we're going to go Tom Silvis. But let's see, because a number of tackles now have gone. And if other teams are thinking like me, he's definitely the tackle that I would get at this point. Although we didn't interview Roman up here. All right, we are up. Now, as I just said, we did not interview this Roman guy, although his block strength does not look good. Only thing I'm a little bit worried about here is that we are in kind of like a go, go, go mode. This guy is only 12% developed, which means he's probably not going to start for at least a season or 2. But if one of our tackles goes out, I feel like this guy would be able to step in. Maybe he actually will end up starting for us, and I'm completely wrong. Our other option would be is we could go the next best wide receiver that we did like here. He's also considered very underrated. Only thing is with those bars, I'm not sure that he's going to pan out to be a starter for us. So I'm going to go ahead, pick up Tom here. All right. Let's see what comes our way here. Now, we're now at a point where I don't think any player that we interviewed that's red is going to be left. So we are now taking basically a shot in the dark here. Let's take a quick look if any safeties look appealing. That's decent. They're decent bars. I really like that this guy has this really good man-to-man and zone because we've been struggling in the passing game situation for our secondary. So actually, I might go ahead and nab this guy. Let me mark him real quick. Yeah, I feel like this guy might be a little bit of a stretch, but he's definitely not going to be there on the round back. So we're going to go ahead and get him. That might be the highest pick we've used on a safety, which is a little bit disappointing, but we just have not had great options. I am going to mark this guy. With how far down he is, he'll probably fall the final round. And he might be somebody worth throwing on. Let's see. We have a defensive end here that his all of his combine stats are nuts. And we did lose a defensive end in our whatchamacallits, retirement. And actually it says defensive end's the first thing we need, so let's go ahead and nab him. All right, now we're at pick 4. Let me just see real quick. Right now, the game says only thing that we really need to fill is corner and kicker. We're probably not going to get a start-worthy one at this point in terms of cornerback. Yeah, that's the next best guy on the thing, and he doesn't look too good. Same with that guy. That guy actually looks semi-decent. Although he's mainly a running defense corner, which is not ideally what I would want here. I'm going to mark this guy. If he falls to us in the next round, I'll take him. I don't think that's going to happen. For now, we might just want to grab another defensive end, to be honest here. This guy could at least come in and be on our special teams. He's like a 50 in pass rush, pass technique. Run defense is actually pretty high. I actually like this guy's bars for a 4th rounder. Let's go ahead and nab him. That corner did last, so I think we should go ahead and nab him because there might not be a better option in late free agency. However, look at this quarterback right here. His combine stats are pretty nutty. he ran a 4.5, which is very good for a quarterback. And as we learned last year, having a backup quarterback is very important. We have a decent backup quarterback right now. I'm going to be honest, though, with this guy's bars, if this guy gets to 80-90% of what we see here, this guy could legitimately be a starter in the league, I think. Because I was not planning to take a quarterback here. I say we do it. We have not had much luck with late draft quarterbacks. And actually, that corner did go. I was about to say, I think that corner might have lasted. Is that one safe? That safety's still relatively far down. He'll probably last till the final round. This tackle actually has very good combine stats as well. Very low developed, but let's go ahead and nab him. And then our final round is going to go to that safety. All right. Let's take a look real quick at how we did there. Wait. Oh, I'm sitting here like, wait a second. I didn't draft a... Okay. All right, we were still looking at San Fran. Jacksonville. All right. So that tackle that we got in the first round is looking to get into that 70 range, which is awesome. Defensive tackle that we got in the fourth round is looking to be our next best pick there at a 63. And then the one safety we got in the seventh round is actually looking to be a potential starter. Everybody else is below that. So definitely not an ideal draft because unless these players like boom in training camp and preseason, none of them are probably going to be starting for us, which is definitely a little bit of a downer. But if they can boost us up in the next 2 years, I think it's still worthwhile. All right, hopping into late free agency, we still do need a kicker. I know that. And we also still need a corner. Kicker and corner, and we don't have much money to mess with. If we look here, we're actually second lowest in the league. So all that we're really going to do here is take a look at who's available at those two spots, basically. Here's a defensive or offensive tackle that, oh no, I don't like that. His bars look pretty good, but I do not like what I saw there. Here's a proven kicker. At least his bars say he's proven. Yeah, he actually did pretty well. Not as good as our guy, but we got to fill in his shoes somehow. I don't really want to give this guy a 3-year contract. I'm willing to pay him a little bit more to just make it a 2-year just in case he is terrible. And then we still, I might go ahead and nab another running back for our backfield. And then, I'll go ahead and I was not expecting to put in other offers here, but should fit in well if he gains starting experience. Well, that kind of sucks. I don't think he's going to get starting experience, but I'm still nabbing him. And then we need a corner. Ugh. I'm going to nab this rookie just because we don't have that much money to play with, especially if we need to make a move mid-season. Let's see. Wide receiver signed, corner signed. All right. Then we just need to make sure that kicker signs, and then hopefully the running back. And then we are on to our season. Let's see. Running back signed. Kicker is still holding out here. He's not going to get a better deal than what we offered him. I mean, a team might give him 3 years, but it's going to be for like the same money amount. So I don't see him signing anywhere else. Yep, okay. He signed with us. That completes our team. We have a little bit of money to play with if we need to make a move mid-season. And hopefully our team remains in shape here. Do training camp. Preseason. We won one game in preseason. We lost a game. We won a game. And what did we do that week? We won a game. So we have 3-1 in preseason, but as we know, very similar to real life, that really does not matter at all. So we'll take that with a grain of salt. Let's go ahead. We'll run through our first week of the regular season. We got crushed. Now, if this is anything like last season, our defense started off relatively weak, and then they really peaked in like the second half of the season, which really did wonders for us. So I'm kind of hoping for something similar here. Just looking at this, our offensive line looks much worse than I was expecting. So that does suck. I don't know, though. I think by mid-season, I think that this could come in to be a very good team here. We have two young defensive ends who are both supposed to get better. Hopefully by mid-season, let's take a quick look here. Yeah, so right now, our main center, he actually should be back next week, so that will boost our offensive line a little bit. And then this tackle will hopefully actually shift into a starting role by mid-season. And yeah, I think that we're going to see our team boost a little bit here as long as we don't have any key injuries. So let's keep this thing moving. We'll simulate to week 4 like we normally do, and then take a look at how our stats are coming along. We won there, 34-15. Won there, 14-6. Won there, 24-9. So just based on those scores, it does look like our defense is starting to show up again, which is awesome. Let's take a look here. All right, so through 4 games, Alex Baxter is not playing well. He's only put up 4 touchdown passes, lower rating. He's averaging like less than 200 yards passing a game, which is definitely not ideal. But we'll see how that all pans out. Actually, I'm going to be honest. If we just look here, all of these rankings right now are trash. We're going to need to see what happens here. That even though we're 3-1 and outside of that first week, our defense looks like it's showed up. In terms of where we rank on all these, it's atrocious. And it might just be that we got run over so hard in week 1. Again, if you're really into this game and like doing play-by-play, you're going to be much more familiar with how players are actually, performing each game. I don't take the game to that level, at least right now. If I do run a second, season of this game, I think I am going to take it a little bit more seriously now that I'm a little bit more familiar with it. Not seriously, I guess just more in depth. Because I'm taking this seriously, it's just I'm not looking at every single stat line. So, very interesting. Let's go ahead. We'll go to the trade deadline here. Here's our bye week, which is probably a good time for us. That way, now we're going up against Indianapolis, who are 5-0, so this will be a big telling game here. We lost, but only by a field goal, 31-28. All right. And then we're going up against Athens again. We beat them. That's good. So we're at 4-2. All right. Let's take a quick look here and see how our stats are starting to come together. So Alex Baxter still is not having a great season. Our running game looks like it's starting to pick up again. Our passing game is no good. And then our defense really does seem to be all over the place. I mean, there's really not a wonderful stat that I like here. Let's take a quick look and see if did one of our offensive lines completely getting beaten and battered. We have 3 injured offensive linemen starting right now. That's definitely not ideal. I'm surprised that our defense is struggling as much as it is. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. With these stats, I feel like our defense should be putting up better numbers than they are. It could be that our secondary is just not good enough. I wonder if next episode we should try trading up, depending on where we end, maybe trading up to try to nab a safety or corner. We'll see though. I'm not 100% convinced that that's even our issue right now. No trades here. All right, we beat Kansas City. That's a big sign for us. We're now going up against another winning team in Denver. They beat us badly. Here we are against California. They beat us. That is a bad sign because they were 1-6 or 1-7. We beat Houston. We beat Arizona, so we're 7-4. Do we run the thing that's screwed us every other time in the early episodes of this? I say we do. Let's find it real quick. So early on in this series, I was messing around with, and it will take me a second here to find it. There's a new thing in Front Office Football 8 where you can now run predictions in terms of who's going to make playoffs. And basically, every single time that we ran this, it gave us the opposite result of what really happened. So let's see here. Right now it says we have a 71% chance to make playoffs. We still have about a 20% chance at a bye. So 71%, I'm pretty happy with that. But we're going to see, because I think I don't remember when it was, but in early episodes, maybe episodes 4 or 5 or so, I think we also had a 70% chance and we didn't make it. So let's go ahead and see how this pans out for us. We're going up against Pittsburgh, Seattle, Houston, San Fran, and Indianapolis. So we don't have an easy end to our season here. So we're going to have to play hard, team. Let's go. All right, we beat them. Who was that? Pittsburgh. We beat them 38-31. Here we are against Seattle. This should be our one kind of easy game, but we'll see how this goes. They beat us, of course. What do you know? We're now up against Houston. This is a big game because they're also definitely in playoff contention. We beat them. Awesome. San Fran, once again, this is one of the 2 remaining. This is our easier of the 2 remaining games, but our team seems to be struggling against the weaker teams for some odd reason. And they do have the really good wide receiver they drafted. We beat them, though. And now it's us against Indianapolis. Before we do that, let's take one other quick look at that playoff probability. Okay, so we're already locked into playoffs. That's awesome. I do want to see us win this game, though, because if we win this game, that might put us in bye, which would be awesome. New England has already captured the 1 bye spot, and we have basically we have a 50% chance basically of nabbing the other one. And that would be huge for us. Let's go ahead, see how that pans out. We won. So hopefully that nabs us the bye. Let's see if it did. Come on. Hello. We got the bye. All right. So before we hop into playoffs, let's just take a quick look here. It looks like our offensive line has come back together. We don't see any injuries there. Our top tight end here is dealing with a bruised rib cage. He'll have 1 week off, so he's probably not going to be full strength, but he should at least be starting for us. Our top linebacker here is probably going to miss the entire playoffs, which sucks because he's been very consistent for us. He puts up like a sack every other game, gets a couple of tackles each game. So that's definitely less than ideal. However, other teams are dealing with injuries too. To be honest, these injuries are not that bad. At least nobody on our team that was like really good outside of maybe this guy. He has a concussion. He actually might be back for playoffs. We didn't have anybody that like broke a leg or tore an ACL or something like that. So basically our starting lineup is whole here, which is awesome. Before we jump into playoffs, let's just take a quick look-see at the team summary to see how we ended up by the end of the season. So Alex Baxter still did not have a great season. In this game, I would say this is a decent season, though. Believe it or not, Tempest actually ended our top running back, not Alejandro Forbes. So that's interesting to see. No 1,000-yard wide receiver. Our best wide receiver was J.J. Morton. So Lindsey still, don't get me wrong, he's a good wide receiver. His stats are still very decent, but he was definitely, at least as of right now, not a third overall pick worthy. If I had gotten this guy at maybe like pick like 20, I would be much more happy with him. But that's not how that panned out. So just to be clear, I'm not mad about it, but I'm a little bit disappointed. I guess that's the best way to put it. Our secondary, like the passing game is just running laps on us. Our defense is definitely struggling more this year. But we'll see. I mean, our running game, I think, has actually come together, and that's probably that our offensive line has basically remained whole, which is great. I think it's time, guys. We have Alex Baxter now finally ready to start for us here in the playoffs. So we'll see how this goes. So wild card weekend. We didn't play there. Here we're going up against Oakland. So, you know how we do this. Let's go. All right, 7-7. 21-7. Real quick. I rarely see comebacks like this in this game, or at least in 7. Normally, if it's past like two touchdowns, so like 14 or more points, chances are that we're not going to see our team come back here. But the knock on wood here, I'm hoping that this ends up panning out the other way. Let's go. Oh. Okay. I swear that this game like listens to what I say, and then it just does the opposite. We'll see. We've now tied it up 24-24. Let's see how this goes. We'll slow it down here in a second or two. I've still got 12 minutes to go. All right. 2 minutes. Oakland just has to get in field goal range. Let's go switch this to fast, and I'll kind of go through here. So there was a catch for 19 yards. That probably does put them into field goal range at this point. Ooh, that's another... Okay, they're definitely within field goal range. They might try to run out the clock at this point. Nope. Okay, so they got a touchdown. Now, honestly, obviously them not scoring there would have been much better, but them giving us 2 minutes, that's basically best case scenario here in my opinion. So let's see what happens here. Alex Baxter runs for 3 yards. And there was a flag that went against us. No good. We got to go 90 yards, guys. All right. Looks like that was a sack. Fakes the handoff. Alex Baxter runs for 9 yards. That's not how we use the clock. Loss of 15. And that's game. Dang. Dang. Do we still have timeouts? I mean, they're going to be able to kick a field goal at this point, which is going to make it a 2-possession game. So this is over. I don't even know where timeouts are shown. I think they're shown down here, which means that I don't think we have any left. Oh, no, it says it up here. We do have one. Yep. All right. We took the L, guys. We took the L. Anchorage ends up taking the Super Bowl this year, or front office championship as this game calls it. And it's hard to say. I'm gonna look at some stats in the off season here. Hopefully, show you guys some useful stats at the beginning of the next episode. Just looking at these rankings, I think it's clear that our defense took a big hit this year. Something needs to happen where we're not sitting at bottom 3 in basically every passing stat in terms of defense. But we're going to need to narrow down what exactly that's going to mean. Do we make a trade up to grab a starting corner or safety, or is that not the best idea? Do we add a really good pass rusher that's going to force more balls to be thrown in bad directions, maybe bat it down more? Do we simply just boost our offense so that if our defense struggles and limits these teams to, let's say, 21 points a game, maybe we just boost our offense, that our offense is scoring more than that each game? There's so many opportunities and ways that we could really do this. I think we need to see what falls to us in free agency, what falls to us in the draft. Real quick, as always, let's take a quick look at the season awards, see if we got anybody in here. Once again, not a single player in the season awards, so I'm surprised about that. I don't think we've had a player in the season awards now in 2 or 3 seasons. That being said, 3 seasons ago we had a couple of players get in here. What that really shows, though, is that our team really is a well-rounded team. We don't have that 1 or 2 superstar situation, which has its pros and cons. But I don't know. We'll take a look at some stats. We'll see how we are going to do this for next season, guys. Until then, AyyScare out.